Hey guys, today I'm working on the 2009 Saab 97X. Late last year and obviously now the AC has gone out on it, and I've actually painstakingly went through the system and cleaned and changed all the seals and a few other things last year. I put a new compressor in it and it's still losing Freon. And so finally I tracked it down to the AC condenser, which is the radiator for your AC system. So I'm going to be pulling this front bumper off and getting that changed out. Excuse me. So I went ahead and got a new orifice tube, got a brand new dryer made in China, and there's the AC condenser. So I'm going to go ahead and show you guys how to service your AC. It's that time of the year, you know, so I think this will probably be a good video to share with you guys. So it's just kind of crazy. Like, you can charge this thing up, and I mean, it has just ridiculously cold AC, but it sits overnight and it's gone. So I got a feeling, even though I couldn't see it very well, the AC condenser is probably pretty badly corroded, so I'm gonna have to just go ahead and get that thing out of there. And then on a side note, I'm gonna be wrapping all this chrome with some black 3M wrap, which I've got right here. It's the air release something or another, vivid, whatever. But anyway, I've used that stuff a few times before. It's good stuff. So anyway, yep, I'm gonna get to that. I'm not sure how I'm gonna do this. Maybe, I don't know, maybe 2 videos, maybe an AC video and then like a Saab 97X video or something like that. But anyway, I'm gonna get this front bumper off, go ahead and start working on getting the condenser out. So this is basically what you're gonna see when you get the front bumper and the AC condenser out. It's really not that bad. You know, it's got a couple bolts on the ends. There's a few little plastic things on the bottom. And I even had to get these transmission coolers off, but you probably wouldn't have to do that, maybe. But anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and get ready to put the new condenser in. I'm gonna go ahead and swap out the orifice tube and the dryer, receiver dryer, which is this guy right here. The orifice tube is located in this joint right here, so probably easiest to just go ahead and pull this tank out. It's really not that bad. In fact, you only need a little bit of room, so you don't even really have to unhook anything. Just unbolt it and just kind of shuffle it over to the side a little bit, and you're going to unbolt this line, and then the orifice tube is going to be kind of just right in the middle. I'll show you guys that in a few minutes.
Keeps bleeding from the words I spit, so sharp, so freezing, so cold. Behold, frostbite, they feeling. I could tear you apart, or I could go heal them. Don't believe in fate, don't believe in ceilings. I just need a taste, and my mind starts peeling. I don't pace myself, I grind on kneeling. Got lust for change, I just love the feeling. I ain't gonna give up. Got too little time, I'ma live up. Head down, push forward through the tough times, cause anything worth doing is a tough climb. And I ain't gonna give up. Got too little time, I'ma live up. Head down, push forward through the
Alright, I'm getting ready to get to the orifice tube, and basically I've got a 19 and a 22. These are actually flare nut wrenches, and you should be able to, yeah, I cracked it with one hand. So we're gonna unscrew this, and honestly I didn't really think about it at the time. It's not a huge deal either way, but if you leave this line loose right here, you can kind of slide the whole thing out of the way. But anyway, I got this little bracket off right here, so you got a little, got a little wiggle room, and that's pretty much all you're looking for. Just get this thing unscrewed, and once you get it disconnected, little stuck. There we go. So you can't see it probably, but there is a orifice tube in there. So let me see if I can dig that bad boy out right quick. I don't know if you guys can see up in there. Yeah, it looks like you can see it right there. I'm gonna get a small pair of needle nose pliers, and you should be able to get a hold to it. It's not exactly simple, but anyway, I'm gonna put the camera down so I can use two hands, but you just need to get a hold of that little tab you saw on the camera and pull that thing out. And I know we just looked at it a minute ago, but this is what you're seeing right here. So this end right here is what you're going to be pulling on, and you know, then we're just going to stick it in the same direction. This is why we changed the orifice tube. All this stuff is from a compressor failure, and honestly, this is really surprising to me. I flushed it out pretty good and replaced this orifice tube, and it still looks like this. So if you have a compressor failure where you know, like I'm talking about like locked up or whatever, you're definitely gonna want to replace the condenser, because there's no way to get that thing clean. I flushed that thing like crazy and still ended up with this. So anyway, this is what regulates your AC. So basically this is where your high side becomes your low side. So, and I did say that backwards earlier. This is the end sticking out of the hose, and there's an arrow on here, so you're going to stick that arrow down into the pipe. But this is basically a pressure valve that it just maintains a certain amount of pressure. And yeah, you want to make sure everything's clean, and this is exactly why right here.
I know that time can heal it all if you're patient, and soon it can all be worth it. All the searching, pain is never really permanent, but damn, it hurts, man.
Alright, after you get everything ready, and also I poured in about half of this bottle of oil. I keep it in stock. I don't really know how much I needed, so I just added about 4 ounces. You know, it's not an exact science. You just don't want it to be dry, and you definitely don't want too much. But I know that I've replaced the compressor, and now we've got a new condenser and stuff, so, and the dryer, so 4 ounces is reasonable. So now I've got it being vacuumed down. Vacuum pump here, and she's sitting right around 30 inches of mercury, maybe 28, somewhere in that area. And I want to let her sit here for probably about 15 minutes. When you first turn it on, you should see, you know, some steam and stuff coming out. And you can see where the oil got aerated a little bit from the air coming through there and moisture and whatnot. After a while, you have to change the oil. But anyway, I'm going to vacuum this down, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it off and let it sit, you know, for probably another 15 or so minutes, and make sure it holds the vacuum. You know, that it's not a surefire indication that there's no leaks, but it helps. It sure does help. So we'll make sure it holds vacuum, and then we'll go ahead and get her charged up. So hopefully she holds. Alright, while I'm waiting on this thing to vacuum down, I wanted to talk to you about some alternative methods to get your AC charged up. Everybody knows it's good to pull vacuum, you know, kind of get the moisture out of the system and all that good stuff, because, you know, the boiling point of water changes dramatically in vacuum. So that's the whole purpose of it. It actually turns, you know, liquid into gas, and it fogs out or whatever. Okay, I'm not a scientist, I just know how it works. Anyway, I did this for years because I couldn't afford a vacuum pump and all that stuff. Of course, when I was, you know, 18, 20, this stuff was astronomically more expensive than it is now, because everything's available on Amazon and everything else. So you know, I'm just gonna share this information in case you just need some oxygen in your car. You know, it's just hot. You need some damn air, okay? And you don't have the money for all this stuff, and you don't have the money to take it to somebody. So I've done this so many times, and it worked every time. Never had any problems. But basically, what I would do is I would start putting some Freon in, not liquid, but gas. You know, you can turn it upside down and do a liquid charge. But in this particular case, what I would do is I would start letting the Freon flow in, and I would open the hot side valve and kind of let it purge some of the Freon through the system. Not a whole lot. I mean, you can kind of smell when strong Freon starts coming out the other side, but I used to do that to flush the air out of it, and I'm gonna tell you, it works just fine. You know, so if you want to get her done, that'll get you done. You still want to make sure that your orifice tube is good. Even if you can't afford one, pull that sucker out and clean the screens and everything. You know, make sure it's clean. Throw it back in. Maybe throw a new O-ring on it. You know, and if you get a dryer, that's pretty essential. If you got a vacuum pump, you can get away with reusing a dryer all day long. I've done that many times. But I will say, if you're gonna try to do it without a vacuum pump, you want to go ahead and replace the dryer, because that's just gonna give you a little extra buffer. All right. But anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and start getting some of the rest of the stuff put together while it's vacuuming down, and then we'll charge it up and test it. Alright, I got the AC all charged up and monitoring the pressures out there. Everything's looking good. And I'm also checking the temperature inside here, and we got some cold air. It's a new personal best, I think. Just a minute ago, I had it down to 23.6, I believe it was. See if it pulls down again. I finally found a good spot. Now that's some cold air. I usually get right around 29 degrees, maybe 28, but this is definitely a new PB for me. I saw 23.6 a few minutes ago, but we can call it 25. I don't even care. That's insane. And we're just idling in here. We're not even driving down the road. Anyway, needless to say, it's pretty cold in here.